Welcome back to my high school football championship series for college football 26, streaming live right here on Twitch and at a later date uploaded to YouTube. Just a quick reminder, all of these teams featured in this series are available for download and use in your own college football 26 video game. Simply search for my username down there at the bottom, Dreadwin94, and you can download any one of these teams or all of them if you wish to import and use in your college football 26 video game. Make sure you're searching for the username search box and not the keyword search. All right. Here's just a quick look at the weekly standings as of week 2. We're now going into week 3. So let me pull up the schedule for week 3. And here is a week 3 schedule. We just finished game 1 of week 3, South Terrebonne at HL Bourgeois. We're now going to move on to game 2 tonight, and we're going to be featuring Thibodaux at Central Lafourche. So we're going to cover these two games tonight. The other two games remaining on the schedule will be covered on Thursday night. So make sure you're checking my Twitch channel for that. So we've got these teams lined up and ready to go. And Thibodaux will be wearing their alternate away uniforms today. So they're all whites, white helmet, white jersey, white pants. That's what that looks like. While Central Lafourche in their first home game of the season will be in their default home uniforms. This is the first time they're wearing their default homes. That's what that looks like. So let's head down and see what's going to happen. Just a reminder, this week we have got a storm system rolling through the area. So all games this week are going to be affected by a rain system. So we're going to see rain in all of these games this week for week 3. But for now, let's head down to Raceland, Louisiana on a Friday night and see how this one shakes out. I'm going to kick it over to the broadcast booth now, and I'll catch you guys on the other side once we find out the winner of game number 2.
The kickoff team is on the field, and we're ready to get this one underway. On the move from inside his 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. As we take a quick look at the impact players for today's game, what players did you guys look to for motivation to make an impact during your playing days, Jesse?
Well, it was the guys we relied on each and every week. We came into the season expecting these types of guys to be our biggest weapons, and every week those were the guys that had to deliver for us.
Taking a shot on the first play. And that'll be incomplete. They tried to hit him with a big one on first down. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Brown wants to pass. And it'll be incomplete. This defense is physical, and
coordinator may be setting something big up for later in the game.
Makes one-man miss. Brought down at the 39 after a pickup of 10. It'll be a first down. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. They'll power it inside with the fullback. And after the stop, that is going to put a bow on this first quarter. Had a chance to talk it over during the break, and they'll start with second down. Lots of time left and ready to go back at it here in the second quarter. Working well behind the sticks on second down. The give to the single dip. He is going nowhere as the defense is manhandling this running game. On third and long, trying to convert through the air. Makes the grab over the middle. Brought down at the 37-yard line, and this defense denies them on third down. Punt is in the air on fourth down. And they'll let that one go, and it'll roll out of bounds. Offense making its way onto the field to start the drive. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Under heat, he gets rid of it.
This offensive line's got to do a better job. I mean, he doesn't even have time to go through his progressions. You got to give your QB some time. You got to make him feel comfortable.
Oh, he's got some space. Good vision and determination there to find his way up to their 23.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
So what do they have for third and short from their own 23? They'll try to run for it. Gets it out to the 27-yard line, and they'll move the chains for a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. They'll give it to the back. Shakes off the defender. Get him on the ground after a 4-yard run out to the 31. Solid pickup of 4 on first down and second and 6. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. Finds enough room to get 3 out to the 34. It's third down from their own 34 as they try to keep the drive moving. They'll try to move the chains on the ground. They tried to go smash mouth on third and short, and it did not work against this defense. Hunt is on its way. Makes the catch at the 30. They'll put a stop to that return at about the 37-yard line. Okay, so here comes the offense returning to the field. And they're not on the same page there. Backed up now, here's second and long. Give to the running back. Nice move, creates some space. He had all kinds of company as soon as he got it. He had to fight his way back just to get to the line of scrimmage. On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Picked off. Got room on the return. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
QBs have to understand, when I'm throwing against zones, I got to manipulate guys with my eyes. I might have to look one direction to create an opening to throw that ball or zip that ball in. I got to use touch. It's really hard when all eyes are on me, and you could tell the quarterback was not ready and did not make a good throw.
3 tight ends in the formation on first and 10. Handoff to the lone back. Breaks into the open. Just making a play, getting it to the 23-yard line. It'll be first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. There to stop him after a pickup of 1 to the 22. Didn't get much on first down. It's second and 9.
possession, David, he hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy. The connection between quarterback, wide receiver, you can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
Looking for the tie with the extra point. And he did make that extra point. No issue with the treacherous footing. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. And he takes this from inside the 5. Able to find enough room to get it out across the 25. He's brought down at the 26. check him out. Making a play like that to open the drive can really get the momentum going. First down from the 43. It's a fumble. Recovered by the defense, and he's off.
You know, oftentimes when you're playing in conditions like this and it's raining, you'll see a lot of the skill players offensively take off the gloves because they want to be able to feel the football. They think it gives them better control of it. I don't know if that played into the football going on the ground there, but you know that ball security is going to be one of the biggest factors in this game moving forward.
Quarterback and running back set up in the pistol. The give to the tailback. Didn't get much done on that run. He'll fight his way out and maybe pick up a yard. Going with the ground game left. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Now facing a 3rd and long. They'll run it from the gun. Stop right at the 42-yard line as this defense forces a 4th down. The punt team makes its way onto the field. This will be the 5th kick of the night. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Out comes the offense as they get set to take over. Power football with the run. They get him stopped at the 32. That's a gain of 4.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
Using his legs, it's Winston. Pass the sticks and still on his feet. They finally wrestle down the senior, but not before he picks up some valuable ground. They send the tight end in motion. Right back to the well. And he was greeted by a host of defenders and barely gets it back to the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Brown will throw it. Quick strike complete. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there and still a little ground to cover to pick up the 1st.
This offense has their work cut out for them, man, because the coverage has been so tight. And if you're not throwing to the sideline or you're not getting past the sticks, this defense is going to tackle you inbounds like they just did on that last play and bleed the clock.
They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. And here comes the punt team. That leg is staying loose. Already the 5th kick of the night. Yet another punt on the way. Got to make sure that hamstring stays loose. He's been busy. So, guys, we'll get another look at this offense. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. He lofts it high and deep down the left side. Throws it in down the sideline. Open spacing. Touchdown.
Quarterback's ability to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation of time to be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone. That was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
PAT unit on the field. And the extra point is true, and they have a 2-touchdown lead, up 14 in the 4th. If only it were always this easy for the offensive coordinators. One play, big chunk yardage, put points on the board just like that. From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. They'll give it to Johnson. Oh, better look out. Quick spin on the run. Tackle is made at the 28 after a pickup of 3. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6.
moments, man, when you're trailing by a couple possessions, you've got to put it together. Your quarterback has to come through. I mean, it's not a surprise. It's going to be passes. He's got to be smart. He's got to be quick with his decision-making, and they kind of got to be up near the line of scrimmage and be in a little bit of a hurry.
Chucked it away just as he was hit. Just had to get rid of that one. Good job to find another play. What will they dial up on second and a long way to go? Couldn't connect on first down. Now back to the air. And the quarterback will be slung down back at the 43.
This defense right now is pinning their ears back with a huge lead in the fourth quarter, and you're seeing that coming off the edge. They're not even respecting run because they don't have to. They know that this opponent is going to throw the football. They're taking wider splits. They're getting up the field. They're using their speed, and that time tracking the quarterback down for a big sack.
He picked up some yardage, but they stop him at the 45, and he'll be a little short. Down by multiple possessions. You can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it on fourth down. Can't find his man. It'll be incomplete, and that is a heartbreaker this late in the game. They want that clock to run. And this one will be stopped for no gain. We've reached a 2-minute timeout. In all likelihood, they could just run the clock out. We'll see if they want to rub a little salt in the wound. He's stopped for no gain again. Back-to-back runs, and they have nothing to show for it except facing a third and long. They'll try to pop the draw. Fouls through the defense. And they'll stop him about 5 yards short of the first. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. Punt is on its way. Cover guys do their job, and they get him stopped at the 22-yard line. Brown will throw it. Fires to the big fella.
As a tight end, if you're going to be good in the passing game, you've got to be able to feel the windows when defenses play zone coverage. And he did a really good job of that right there. He didn't rush. He didn't hurry. He took his time, found the soft spot, and gave his quarterback an easy place to throw the football.
Dragged down, but they'll move the sticks for a first down. Everybody has to be set. They have to get it off. To the air on first down. Grabbed in the middle. It's Johnson. Really good concept there to get things going and use the tight end early.
Yeah, I mean, just such a great job on first down, setting up an easier second down. Understanding I don't always have to push the ball down the field, but see the tight end, make the throw. No, it's not a big gain. It makes life really easy on me on second down.
This senior showed some serious arm strength firing that one in for the first down. He spikes it, clock stops as they try to rally late. Behind the chains now on second and long. Wants to go up top. Just a short pass to the tight end. And that had all the makings of bug meat windshield. But how about the little corner
Well, well, well. The rain has proven to be an equalizer so far in these first two games. Thibodeau suffers their second upset defeat in as many weeks, losing to Central Lafourche by a score of 24 to 10 this time. Wow. So what I got out of this was two big plays were the difference in this game. First of all, the punt return in the first quarter that Central Lafourche, got them on top early. That big play was certainly one of the differences, and then the big 84-yard touchdown bomb there late in the fourth quarter was the other difference. So, I mean, that's 14 points. That's the difference in the game right there. Other than that, it was a hard-fought game. Thibodeau was in a dogfight on this one. So I'm not sure how much the rain played a factor into that, but we did see a couple turnovers that didn't help them. And Thibodeau, an early favorite in this whole series, has now dropped two games in a row. So, hmm, interesting. You can see how this thing shakes out. This is on the one hand, this is good. So here's the stats. Again, I'm gonna go through the stats for anyone wanting to keep track at home. I can't keep track in game, so we'll just have to do it this way at the end of each game. I'll run through all the stats, and you can take a look at them that way. And if you want to write them down, you can. So Central Lafourche looks like they've got a good two-headed monster here at running back. See Byron Thomas here, number 7, and then Joey Gillum at number 41. These two guys making plays for him in the running game for sure. Receiving Devin Bro, man, that he had that big touchdown catch there in the fourth quarter. Again, that was a big, big moment in the game. That was kind of the dagger in the heart there at the end. Defensive, let's go through defensive stats here. We did have an interception. Here's that, and there was a fumble recovery. I don't know if that's on here. I don't usually go all the way through the defensive stats like this way. Let me go this way real quick. Forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. Let's just find that real quick because I know there was a fumble recovery. There it is. There's your fumble recovery right there. All right, that's the defensive stats, and we'll go to kicking. 1 for 1 on field goals. Punting. A lot of punts in this game. And then we'll move over to Thibodaux's stats real quick. Ruben Brown. Not a bad day passing, especially considering the weather. 20 out of 33, 230 yards passing. A lot of those yardage came there when he was trying to drive. Man, they almost had a touchdown right before halftime. That was another big moment when they were driving down right before halftime. And there was a play where they kind of ran the ball and ran some time off the clock that they probably shouldn't have done because the next play was a pass play and they were down to like the 2 yard line and when time ran out and I think they still had a timeout left in their pocket but time had run out during the play. So that was bad clock management on their part for sure, but another pivotal point in that game. So a couple, I'd say 3 or 4 plays were really, really important to the outcome of this football game, and that was definitely one of them there. Tremaine Johnson, solid running back for Thibodaux. He did get injured. Just a reminder, injuries, because of the way we're doing this, will not carry over from game to game. I just don't have any way of doing that. Um, I'm having to use play now mode for all of these, so it's not a continuous actual season. We're kind of making the season up as on our own here. So any injuries will last for the game, and then in the next week, everybody's reset and they're back at full health. So that's just how we're gonna roll with it. Let's see, Jimmy Winston, the backup running back, another solid running back for Thibodaux. These two guys, um, both pretty good. So if Tremaine Johnson does go down, Winston can come in and carry the load for them for sure. Wide receiver is Jared Johnson had a big day at tight end, 6 catches for 56 yards. Lance Bergeron had 5 catches, and then Roland Joseph also big game, 5 catches for 101 yards, and he had the touchdown. And then we'll move on to some blocking stats real quick, and move on to the defensive stats, and then we'll wrap this up, and that'll do it for week 2. Or I'm sorry, week 3. We're in week 3. So I noticed Central Lafourche kind of handled the Thibodaux defense pretty well. Usually I notice Thibodaux's defense getting a lot more pressure on the quarterback, getting a lot more sacks on the quarterback. They didn't have that as much. See, here's that. By the way, here's their interception right here. They didn't have that. I didn't see a whole lot of quarterback pressures or sacks this week. So Central Lafourche did a good job of handling Thibodaux's defense in this game. All right, those are the stats, and that does it for game 2 of week 3. One thing I did forget to mention was that this is a rivalry game. So in real life, Thibodaux and Central Lafourche are rivals with each other. Granted, most of these teams are rivals with each other to some degree, just because they all play, in the same area. They play each other all the time, and that just develops natural rivalries with each other. But this is actually an actual rivalry. It would have been considered a rivalry game here at Thibodaux between Central Lafourche. Thibodaux is also rivals with Terrebonne, which we'll see that matchup later on in the season. But that's it for now. I'm gonna hit my pause screen here in just a second, and then come back in just a minute or two, and we'll wrap all this up. But that does it for game 2. Central Lafourche beats Thibodaux in an upset victory, 24-10, in a rainstorm. So maybe the rain's affecting these games. It seems to be an equalizer. Thibodaux was definitely a favorite in this game, and an early favorite in this entire series here for this season. But they've now dropped 2 tough losses in a row. We'll have to see how they can bounce back next week and see how this goes for the rest of the season. For now, let's go to my pause screen, and I will be right back, and we'll wrap this up.